2 spare invitations. Dad took Thursday off so he could go with Mom to her radiation therapy appointment. He said he'd pick me and Carmen up after school, but he was running late because he had to get Jimmy from Grandma's house first. Carmen waited in the 6th grade area while I waited in the 8th. Nobody had assigned waiting spots for different grades, but there weren't any signs. But somehow, everyone knew that the 6th graders were supposed to wait on the hot cement under the flagpole, while the 8th graders waited beneath the shady trees. The 7th graders had their own spot, too. Luckily, Shantae and Patty's ride hadn't arrived yet, so I waited with them. We barely had time to discuss the afternoon when Derek showed up. "Hi," he said to me. "I wanted to talk to you after class, but you were still working on the test." "Yeah," I admitted. "Math isn't my best subject, and the test really takes a long time when you have to show all your work." "Tell me about it. I barely had time to finish." "At least you worked through all the problems." "I still had 5 to go." Patty stomped her line of ants crawling through the curb. "That means you failed it," she said. My shoulders drooped. I felt as crushed as the ants beneath her shoe. "I'm sure you passed," Derek said. "You probably got all the other questions right since you were taking your time." "Yeah, probably," I said, though I wasn't convinced. "So why did you want to talk to Erica?" Shantae asked, all nosy. Derek reached into his backpack, took out a stack of postcards, and handed me one. It was red with black letters that said, "Let's party." In the middle was a black and white photo of Derek, and on the back were the details. "I'm having a birthday bash," he exclaimed. "My cousin's a DJ, so there's going to be music, dancing, and food." He handed postcards to Patty and Shantae, too. "You should all come. Your presence is the only present I need. Get it?" "You are so corny," Shantae said, slapping his arm with the postcard. "Maybe so. But it made you smile, right?" Patty said, "She smiles for everything. She'd smile at a funeral." She glanced down at the dead ants and smiled at their funeral, looking away only when Shantae elbowed her. "Thanks for the invitation," I said to Derek. "It sounds like fun." "Good," Derek said. "Then I'll see you there, and you girls too," he added, pointing to Patty and Shantae, before walking off to join a group at the basketball court. "Can you believe that?" Shantae said to me. "He is totally into you." I shook my head. "No, he isn't." "Oh, yes, he is." He mimicked Derek's voice. "Here's an invitation for you, Erica. I was waiting for you after class, but since you took so long with the test, I had to hunt you down after school so I could personally hand you this invitation, because the only person I need is your presence. Oh, and by the way, I guess I can spare 2 invitations for your friends." "It wasn't like that," I said, secretly believing it was. "He meant to invite all of us from the beginning." "No," Patty said. "You were the main objective. We were totally afterthoughts." "Are you serious?" They nodded. My fingers and toes got all wiggly. Who knew fingers and toes could feel excitement? Finally, I was making close encounter, progress with a guy from my boyfriend wish list. I fumbled in my backpack for my phone and texted Ileana. "OMG, on solid level 3 with Derek, details later." After a few seconds, she replied with the happy face icon. Just then, I spotted Dad's car. "See y'all tomorrow," I said to my friends. "Your presence is the only present we need," they teased as my dad pulled up. I jumped in the back seat with Jimmy because Carmen had grabbed the front since Dad reached the flagpole first. As soon as Jimmy saw the postcard in my hand, he wanted it. "Give me paper, give me paper." "No, Jimmy, it's important." "What is it?" Dad asked. "An invitation to a party." "Let me see," Carmen said. "No, it's not for you, it's for me." Just then Jimmy grabbed the postcard, and when I tried to snatch it back, it tore right across the picture of Derek's cute face. "Ha ha," Carmen said. "That's what you get for being selfish." "Girls," Dad said with a tone that meant you better behave. We didn't want to upset him, so we stayed quiet and listened to All Things Considered, this time with a story about elephants and how they communicate across long distances using something called infrasonic rumbles. "Isn't that amazing?" Dad said. "I wonder what they're saying to each other." Secretly, I wonder too. I'm sure the elephants gave boring announcements, like "cool watering hole 1 mile to the east," or 3 zebras grazing in our turf. But maybe they sent love letters too. Maybe they had parties and used their infrasonic rumbles to invite their friends. Maybe they told stories about warrior elephants that trampled dangerous beasts of the night, or brainy elephants that devised plans to outsmart poachers. If only I could be an elephant interpreter. Wouldn't that be a cool job? I wish humans could talk across the miles too, I said. We can, Carmen said. Carmen held up her cell phone and pointed to it. It's called using a phone. She exaggerated each word as if talking to an infant or a monkey. I hated the way she always made me feel like a dummy. Give me phone, Jimmy cried, reaching for Carmen's. She pretended to hand it over and then snatched it away at the last minute. Poor Jimmy bawled. Look what you started, I complained. He was fine a few minutes ago. He cried even louder. I want a phone, I want a phone. Here, I said, taking mine out. I let him touch a few buttons, and he immediately settled down. Then I showed him pictures of my friends. Who that? He asked, pointing at each one. When we got to the picture of Gumwad sticking out a purple tongue, Jimmy laughed. He looks funny, right? I said. Jimmy laughed even louder. Then he got bored. He was always begging for things and getting bored 2 minutes later. I handed him his toy puppy, the one Mom bought in the valley. We kept it in the car so Jimmy could have something to play with. Jimmy and I growled like angry dogs and barked like happy ones. He was a pest most of the time, but sometimes I really liked playing with him. When Jimmy settled down, I held up the torn postcard and said, Can I go to the party? Lots of my friends will be there. Including boys, Dad asked. Yes, I said, blushing because I hated discussing boys with him. She is totally boy crazy, Carmen squealed. That's why she can't concentrate in school. If you let her go, you'll be feeding her boy mania. You're just jealous, I said, because the boys at school don't know you exist. They do. Oh, really? Then why do you sit by yourself during lunch? Why do you walk by yourself to class? Is this true? Dad asked Carmen. Are you always by yourself at school? Yes, but not because I'm pathetic or something. I like being by myself. The kids at school are total morons. They don't even care about calculating their carbon footprint. I rolled my eyes. That's because they wear regular tennis shoes, not carbons. Your carbon footprint has nothing to do with shoes, Carmen said. It's about creating carbon dioxide and destroying the environment. But how would you know? You're a moron just like the boys at school. Por favor, Dad said. I was about to complain because she did it again. It made me feel like a dummy. But Dad added, Not another word from either of you. We reached the stop sign a few blocks from our street. Dad braked and let the car idle. Let me see that invitation. I gave it to him. He held the two parts together. It says, feel free to bring guests. I nodded. That's why I want Ileana to come, you see. It's not like they're going to be alone with boys. A lot of girls are going to be there, too. Dad returned the invitation and edged the car forward. That's right, he said. A lot of girls, including your sister. Really? Carmen nearly hopped out of her seat. She hadn't been this excited since the Discovery Channel promised to air a new documentary about black holes. I thought we were morons, I told her. I was just kidding, Carmen said. Besides, I'm sure I was going to be invited anyway. Just then, Jimmy threw his toy puppy on the floor. Gimme dog, he said. She can't go, I insisted as I handed Jimmy the toy, which he immediately threw down again. Gimme, he cried. My moving was brown, which meant I felt feisty, troubled, and mad. No, I snapped, and I meant it. No to Jimmy and no to Carmen. Dad pulled into our driveway and turned off the car. While we unbuckled our seatbelts, he said, Carmen, help Jimmy out. Take him inside. I want to talk to Chia for a minute. You are in so much trouble, she gleefully whispered as she lifted Jimmy from his seat. As soon as they entered the house, Dad said, Listen, I want you to take Carmen to the party. It's not because I don't trust you, but because she never gets invited places. I don't like how she's by herself all the time. She's by herself because she's a brat. She's not a brat. He thought for a moment. Different, that's all. And sometimes people who are different have trouble fitting in. She doesn't want to fit in. You heard her. She thinks everyone is a moron. Dad sighed. Just take her to the party. Do it for me, okay? Do it for Mom. I could not believe he would manipulate me in this way, but I knew what would happen if I refused. An ultimatum. Either take Carmen or don't go at all. Fine, I said, exiting the car and stomping towards the house.